Now we're going to get into graphing polynomials, and what we're going to start with is figuring out the end behaviors of these graphs. Now what that means is, for the purposes of this video, we don't care what's going on in the middle of our graph. Maybe it's really wavy, maybe it's just a curve, maybe it's a straight line. For the purposes of this video, we don't care what's going on in the middle. We only care about what's happening to the graph as x is getting really big and really small. So there are two different things that we need to look at figuring out the end behavior of a polynomial. Is our polynomial odd or even? Is our polynomial positive or negative? So again, odd or even, positive or negative. We need to figure out both of those things. If you have an even positive polynomial, that means that in front of your polynomial there aren't any negatives, and your highest exponent is an even number, 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on. If it is an even positive polynomial, your graph is going to look something like this. Again, I don't care what's going on in the middle right now, but the point of this is, as x is getting small, y is getting really big. As x is getting big, y is getting really big. So an even positive polynomial is going to have arrows pointing upward in both directions, going to the left and going to the right. If it's even and negative, the arrows are still going to go in the same direction, but since it's negative, they're going to be going downward. If we have an odd positive polynomial, meaning maybe your exponent is 1, 3, 5, so on and so forth, your highest degree, your arrows are going to be going in different directions. If it's positive, you'll be going from the bottom left to the top right. And if it's odd and negative, you're going to be going from the top left to the bottom right. On this right-hand side, we have examples of different graphs of polynomials. The first one, we have arrows pointing downward in the same direction. Since they're going in the same direction, that tells me it's even. And since they're pointing down, that tells me it's negative. In the next one, we have arrows going in the same direction again, but they're pointing upward this time. So this one's still even because the arrows are going the same way, but it's going up, so it is a positive polynomial. The second one, we have the arrows going in different directions. That says we have an odd degree. And then we're going from the top left to the bottom right. That looks a lot like this one right here. So that tells us it is a negative polynomial. Then finally, the arrows are going in opposite directions again, so it's odd, but we're going from the bottom left to the top right, which tells me it is a positive polynomial. Now what if you're not given the graph? What if you have equations? Then we can talk about the end behavior off of that. In number 1, we have y equals negative 3x cubed minus x squared minus 3x plus 1. When we're talking about end behavior, all that we care about is the leading coefficient and the highest degree when we're in standard form. So our leading coefficient is negative 1. That tells us it is a negative polynomial. Our highest degree is 3. That tells us it's odd. So our end behavior, no matter what's going on in the middle, the end behavior, if it's odd, they're going to be going in opposite directions. And if it's negative, we're going to be going from the top left to the bottom right. There might be something else happening in the middle, but this is just a rough idea of what this graph might look like. Top left to bottom right. Number 2, we have y equals 4x to the 6th minus 2x squared minus 25. The number out front is positive, so we have a positive polynomial. The highest degree is 6, so it is even. Because it's even, the arrows will go in the same direction. Because it's positive, they'll be going up. So it might look something like this. Again, don't care what's going on in the middle, just the arrows. Number 3, it's not in standard form, so I'm going to write it in standard form first. That becomes negative 3x to the 4th plus 2x cubed plus 2x squared minus 6. Leading coefficient is negative. Highest power is even. So because it's even, they'll go in the same direction. Because it's negative, that direction is downward. Finally, putting it in standard form first, negative 5x to the 5th plus 2x to the 4th minus x cubed plus 3x squared plus 7. Leading coefficient is negative. Highest degree is odd. Odd says arrows going in the opposite direction. Negative says top left to bottom right.